NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has never been afraid of controversy. But this time, the storm is personal, and it has the potential to shake the very foundation of the league. The Shadore Sanders saga, which began as whispers of dysfunction inside the Cleveland Browns organization, has now escalated into a full-scale crisis that forced Goodell to step directly into the fray. In a private meeting with Browns owner Jimmy Haslam, Goodell made it clear that the mishandling of Sanders would not be tolerated, stressing that real accountability and systemic change are no longer optional, they are necessary. For the NFL to maintain its credibility, what started as whispers about a talented young quarterback being benched without good reason has grown into something much bigger. Goodell has watched closely as Sanders' talent was buried under questionable coaching decisions. And the deeper he looked, the more disturbing the truth became. This wasn't just a miscalculation by the Browns coaching staff, it was, in Goodell's eyes, a deliberate attempt to hold Sanders back. A fifth-round placement for a quarterback with first-round ability raised red flags everywhere. And for Goodell, that crossed a line. This wasn't simply about football. It was about fairness, integrity, in the league's future. Goodell is no stranger to scrutiny. But insiders reveal that this case hit a nerve because it exposed a larger problem that has plagued the league for years. An ingrained bias in how black quarterbacks are evaluated, developed, and given opportunities. For decades, critics have argued that the league has been too slow to embrace black quarterbacks as leaders of franchises. And the Sanders case only reignited those concerns. Goodell sees this not as a one-off issue, but as a reflection of systemic rot, one that threatens the NFL's reputation if left unchecked. His message to ownership was blunt: enough is enough. Publicly, Goodell struck his familiar careful tone, promising that any violations of league policy would be addressed. Privately, however, his words were far sharper. He told Haslam that the treatment of Sanders had been disgraceful, that the decision to let a clear first-round talent fall to the fifth round was indefensible, and that the NFL could no longer allow politics, prejudice, or hidden agendas to dictate opportunity. He promised a sweeping investigation, one that would dig into the Browns' handling of Sanders and uncover exactly who was responsible for sabotaging his career before it even began. Accountability is coming, Goodell reportedly told Haslam, and the league will leave no stone unturned. The commissioner's stance is polarizing. Supporters argue that this is the bold leadership the NFL needs, someone finally willing to confront the entrenched power of owners and hold them accountable for decisions that undermine fairness and diversity. Critics worry that Goodell's aggressive approach could fracture relationships at the highest levels of the league, creating divisions between ownership and league leadership. But for Goodell, the risk is worth it. The NFL's credibility is at stake, and he knows that fans, players, and sponsors alike are watching closely. At the heart of this battle is the draft itself. Goodell has been explicit in labeling Sanders' drop as a failure of the system. A player with elite talent was allowed to slide, not because of ability, but because of bias. To Goodell, that is sabotage, plain and simple. And he is demanding reforms that go beyond one player. He wants structural accountability, transparency in draft evaluations, and stronger diversity initiatives to ensure that minority athletes and coaches receive genuine opportunities. He has even suggested stricter oversight of ownership, reminding Haslam and others that owning an NFL team is a privilege, not a right. And that privilege comes with a responsibility to uphold the league's values of fairness and equality. But make no mistake, Goodell's immediate priority remains Shadore Sanders. He believes Sanders earned his place among the top prospects, and denying him that opportunity was a betrayal of the league's stated values. For Goodell, this isn't charity's justice. Sanders deserves the chance to lead, to prove himself, and to do so without being held back by politics or prejudice. And by pushing Haslam to publicly acknowledge the Browns' failures, Goodell is trying to restore not just Sanders' career, but the trust of fans who feel increasingly betrayed by ownership decisions. The broader implications are enormous. If Goodell succeeds, this could mark a turning point in the NFL's approach to race, diversity, and accountability. If he fails, the damage to the league's credibility could be catastrophic. He has framed the issue in stark terms. The NFL cannot claim to be America's game if it continues to tolerate decisions rooted in bias and hidden agendas. The league must represent the diverse communities that made it great, or risk being consumed by its own hypocrisy. And so the battle lines are drawn. Goodell has made his choice, and now the owners must make theirs. Will they stand with fairness, transparency, and diversity? Or will they cling to old habits that continue to undermine the very values they claim to uphold? What do you think about Roger Goodell's intervention in the Shadore Sanders controversy? Do you believe this will spark real change in the NFL? Or is it just a temporary move to save face? Should owners like Jimmy Haslam be held accountable for sabotaging players' careers? And how do you feel about the allegations of racial bias in the draft process? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you want more deep dives into the biggest stories shaking the NFL, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more.